I recognized my worst bully's name on a job application. What I did at the interview wasn't what anyone expected. I, 33M, never thought I'd see him again after high school. 15 years is a long time, but I recognized his name instantly when the resume came across my desk. How could I forget? For 3 years, he made my life a living nightmare. You know how they say success is the best revenge? As the hiring manager at a rapidly growing tech company, I was about to find out if that's true. The Monday morning started like any other. Coffee in hand, I scrolled through applications for our senior developer position while my team trickled in. We needed someone fast, the project deadline was looming, and we were understaffed after 2 developers left for a startup. When I opened the 5th resume, I nearly choked on my coffee. There it was, his name. Same hometown, education timeline that matched up with mine. A quick LinkedIn check confirmed it was definitely him. The guy who had shoved me into lockers, accidentally spilled food on me in the cafeteria, and made sure I had no friends for most of high school. My first instinct was to delete the application immediately, but something stopped me. His qualifications were actually impressive. Experience at 2 major tech companies, skill set that matched our needs, solid recommendations. Objectively, he deserved an interview. Everything okay? My assistant had noticed my expression. Yeah, fine. Just recognized a name, that's all. I closed the laptop and went for a walk. 15 minutes around the block to clear my head. By the time I returned, I'd made my decision. I would interview him, professionally and fairly. But I wouldn't recuse myself either. I scheduled his interview for Thursday afternoon. As the day approached, memories I thought I'd buried resurfaced. The time he'd hacked my email and sent embarrassing messages to the entire school. The day he'd found my journal and read my private thoughts over the school PA system. The constant verbal jabs about my weight, my clothes, my interests. Thursday arrived, and I found myself adjusting my tie 3 times before heading to the conference room. What would he look like now? Would he recognize me? Would he even remember what he'd done? Our receptionist called. Your 2 o'clock is here. Send him in. The door opened, and there he stood. Older, of course. The athletic build had softened somewhat. Designer suit, expensive watch. He looked successful, confident, until his eyes met mine. The flash of recognition was immediate, followed by something I'd never seen on his face before, uncertainty. Have a seat, I said, gesturing to the chair across from me. He sat down slowly, never breaking eye contact. I know you. Yes, you do. I kept my voice neutral, professional. I'll be conducting your interview today. A long pause followed. He cleared his throat. Look, we have a lot to cover. I interrupted, opening his resume. Let's get started. What followed was the most thorough technical interview we've ever conducted. I questioned him on every technology he claimed to know, asked him to solve problems on the whiteboard, inquired about every job on his resume. My colleagues who joined for portions looked a bit surprised at my intensity, but the candidate held up well. 3 hours later, we were alone again for the final part of the interview. Any questions for me? I asked. He hesitated, then finally addressed the elephant in the room. I need to say something first. I was terrible to you in high school. I know that. I was a mess back then, parents divorcing, feeling like I had no control over anything. Taking it out on others was wrong. Really wrong. I sat back, face neutral. Why this company? He blinked, caught off guard by my pivot back to business. I researched it extensively. Your innovative approach to accessibility tech, the work culture you've built. It's impressive. You didn't know I worked here when you applied? No, absolutely not. He looked genuinely surprised. I had no idea until I walked in today. I nodded, considering this. Then I asked him something that wasn't on my standard question list. What would you do if you saw workplace bullying happening on your team? He didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice was quieter. I'd stop it, immediately, and make sure it never happened again. I stood up. Thank you for coming in. We'll be in touch next week with our decision. As I walked him to the door, he paused. For what it's worth, I am sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything. I nodded, not trusting myself to respond. That evening, I sat alone in my office long after everyone had left, staring at his resume. The professional thing would be to evaluate him solely on his qualifications, which were excellent. The vindictive thing would be to reject him outright. But neither felt right. My phone buzzed with a text from my wife. Dinner's ready. Coming home soon. I texted back that I was on my way, then gathered my things. The decision could wait until morning. Over dinner, I told my wife about the day's strange turn of events. What are you going to do? She asked. I don't know. He's qualified. Probably the most qualified applicant we've seen. But every time I look at him, I'll see that kid who made my life hell. I pushed food around my plate. Though he did seem different. People change, she said carefully. Not always, but sometimes. You're not the same person you were at 17 either. I thought about that as I helped clean up. It was true. The insecure, lonely teenager I'd been had grown into someone I was actually proud to be. Someone with confidence, friends, purpose. What would give you closure? She asked as we settled on the couch. Rejecting him? Hiring him? Something else? That question followed me into a restless night. Friday morning, I made my decision. I called him personally. We'd like to offer you the position, I said when he answered. But I have a condition. What condition? He sounded both relieved and wary. You mentioned our accessibility projects during your interview. One of our biggest initiatives is anti-bullying software for schools, tools that help identify patterns of harassment in digital communications. I want you to lead that project. Silence on the line. Why? He finally asked. Because you'll understand the problem space better than most. And because I believe in second chances and putting talents to good use. Even if those talents belong to people with complicated pasts. Another long pause. I accept. Good. We start Monday at 9. The team already knows about the project. They don't need to know our history. Thank you, he said quietly. I won't let you down. I ended the call, feeling a weight lift that I hadn't even realized I'd been carrying. Perhaps this wasn't about revenge or forgiveness, but about something more important, moving forward. It's been 6 months since that interview. He's been an exceptional employee, driven, collaborative, and particularly passionate about the anti-bullying project, which has already been piloted in 3 school districts with promising results. We're not friends. I doubt we ever will be. But there's a mutual respect that's developed, professional, and measured. Sometimes, when I see him mentoring junior developers or standing up for quieter team members in meetings, I wonder if he's trying to balance some cosmic scale. Last week, he stopped by my office after hours. I never asked, why did you even interview me once you saw my name? You could have just thrown my resume away. I considered the question carefully, because I decided a long time ago not to let you determine my choices anymore. He nodded slowly. That's fair. Then he added, the anti-bullying software is entering final testing. Early feedback suggests it's identifying patterns with 86% accuracy. Good, I said. That could help a lot of kids. As he turned to leave, I realized something unexpected. The memories of high school, while not gone, had lost some of their sting. They were just stories now, not open wounds. And this new chapter we were reluctantly co-authoring might actually help write a better ending for others. Not what either of us expected from that interview, certainly, but maybe exactly what we both needed.